Yeah. Let's go.
Do we see a green bike in the front? Shakes it down. Webster with a good jump.
Look, Cloud up the inside. Cloud that comes through.
Jet Beat has done everything right today. 5 seconds to go before 24 ProMX champion.
Take a bow, Kyle Webster.
Go hard.
The road to glory begins right here. 8 unique world-class racetracks spread over 4 different states around the country. And we kick things off right here. We're in Wonthaggi, Victoria for round 1 of the 2025 Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. Hello everyone, I'm Lee Hogan alongside former Supercross superstar Danny Ham. Danny, welcome. Wonthaggi never lets us down. The atmosphere is just incredible.
Incredible way to start this series every single year, but this series is really growing as well. A couple of new venues, the red clays down at ANDRA and also loose soil up at Warwick. This series is developing into something very special.
All right, the Pirelli MX2 Championship, Brodie Connolly, the Kiwi, won last year, staring down the barrel to do likewise this year.
Connolly was so fast and so dominant the entire year long. It's going to take a massive effort by all of these riders if they want to get up and challenge him for the top step.
The Maxxis MX3, that always has us running to the fence to watch, super exciting. But the Easy Lift MXW class combined with our Oceania FIM Women's Cup, we've got riders from America, Australia, New Zealand and FIM Africa. So cool.
Incredible amount of talent, so many entries for this particular round, a lot of racing to get involved in. But before we even get to that, we need to check out the track, and you, Hogs, got a chance to get out there for the ProMX track preview.
All right, let's hop on board for a lap around this tricky and treacherous Wonthaggi circuit. Over the finish line jump, and we tip it into a right-hander here, electing to go through the middle line. This is one of the biggest tabletops on the track, landing nicely and heading for the safety of the inside, because as we exit the corner here, we're presented with the first of our rollers, our whoop sections. You need to make sure you don't get too sideways as you exit the last whoop. Have a look at the selections, the options of ruts that we have through that left-hander, which in effect is the end of the double first turn. 2 parts to the first turn here at Wonthaggi. Where we are at the moment as we come past the spectator area is the hardest packed section of the track here at Wonthaggi. We can see some hard packed ruts. We make our way veering left hand here and it gets a little bit softer. It's going to get so rough and choppy here as the day progresses. Some braking bumps already starting to form. Out of this right-hander and up a medium-sized tabletop, making sure that you stick to the left-hand side away from the deep ruts. And I'm trying to play it nice and safe here, a little bit wide in that berm as we head towards the big middle tabletop. We land and the highest speed corner on the track, the big left-hander, an iconic turn here before we pick up speed and make our way slightly up the hill. We've got 2 options here. There's a jump on the far inside, which I elect to stay away from. Going around the outside will set us up nicely for this double right-hander. A slight drop down here in elevation as we make our way to the far outside once again, railing around the berm as we pick up speed for a big tabletop, and we're slightly turning to the right-hand side here. Very cool jump and a little bit of a famous jump here at Wonthaggi, and the last of our rollers. I'm just tiptoeing my way through here. Trust me, these rollers can bite you. A famous right-hander here, almost like NASCAR style, as we make our way into the sandiest part of the track, trying to get to this inside rut. Have a look at those lines there. Jump up to the inside here, such a sketchy part of the track, and over the finish line jump. And that completes 1 lap here at Wonthaggi.
And this track truly is a living beast. There's always moving, the dirt, the lines always changing, and we have seen it so far this morning through our qualifying just how much this changes. But before we get into the first of these races, the MX2, the Pirelli MX2, let's look at the lineup. Brodie Connolly, fastest out there earlier today. Kingsford, Larwood, Ferguson, Dennis. There's been some changes of bikes out there. Cosford, Alexanderson back to racing in Australia. Flynn, Oleda and Yokoyama.
Seth Birchall there, Jack Cookus, Kobe Burke, the list of names goes on. Like you said, we've had a few changes of manufacturers here. Noah Ferguson and Byron Dennis find themselves on the orange KTM this year. Joel Phillips, Jack Kenny, Sam Larson. A stacked field here for the Pirelli MX2 Moto number 1. 5-second board sideways. Watch for the drop in the gate. Who is going to get the first hole shot for 2025? Looks to be a Yamaha up the inside, but who is swooping around through the middle there?
Oh, that was Connolly to the inside, I think. It was definitely a Yamaha, it is. It's Kingsford and Connolly. Straight to the front. Birchall there in third place. Ferguson sits in fourth, but this is the real battle so far from qualifying times between these two riders right here. Oh, Connolly determined to get that pass made early.
What an absolute execution of brilliance there for the number 1 plated Brodie Connolly, the Kiwi, hoping to make it 2 championships in a row for himself and for Honda. But back there in second place, Ryder Kingsford has got other plans as he tries to stay in tow. If we have a look at who was the fastest in time qualifying, our WP hole shot goes to Ryder Kingsford, as we can see. But it was Brodie Connolly who laid down the gauntlet with the fastest lap time in qualifying, but he had a big crash in qualifying as well, Danny.
Yeah, so that definitely will have played on his mind. But look in the background, just here of the shot. Someone has snuck into there. That there is Larwood. Now, we've seen some great speed out of Larwood over the last year. Coming into this one, he looked very good in qualifying. That there is Alexanderson on the outside of the 62. The Penrite Kawasaki, new back to Australia, racing after spending some time overseas last year. And it's great to see him back. But Larwood, I'm impressed by this because Larwood needs to get a good start to this season. He is one of these riders that can certainly run up the front and battle it out for race wins. First lap in the books, these boys just trying to get into the groove early on in Moto number 1.
All right, they just want to try to get themselves into some kind of rhythm, some kind of form at the moment, but all the big hitters up towards the head of the pack. Brodie Connolly from Ryder Kingsford, Larwood back there in third, Noah Ferguson and Byron Dennis, the 2 KTM riders in there in fourth and fifth, Seth Birchall in sixth place, Cosford, Alexanderson, as you mentioned, Kobe Burke there doing a great job up there in ninth place, and Haruki Yokoyama just fresh back from New Zealand. He's doing the Universal Tour once again like he did last year. Great to see him once again on the ProMX circuit.
There is Larwood, Ferguson menacing back there. He is starting to look good. Very, very quick and very intense on the opening laps is this rider. He looks to the outside, the same line there as what our race leader is using as they went through the Pirelli rights. Connolly now into the left-hander. Little bit of a front wheel tuck going into it. Jumps over to a new line to the outside. But not too much of a problem at the moment. There is Larwood, the number 5 machine, working his way towards this. And Ferguson, this is really starting to develop into a great start to this race because we have our main hitters in this particular class all up there. Ferguson's impatient at the moment. He wants to make these passes.
Yeah, Ferguson putting some serious pressure on the back of Alex Larwood. Tries to go around the outside and he gets a clean run through there. What a display of riding from the KTM rider. Larwood's just going to have to check up and try to remount another challenge. So looking like Noah Ferguson making his way towards the head of the pack. Brodie Connolly looking in fine form at the moment. 14.5 minutes to go. The number 1 looking sensational on board the Polyfloor Honda HRC machine. Back up at the head of the pack where he likes to be. Not looking too clean through those. You don't want to continue doing that. But I tell you what, these rollers are going to continue to deteriorate every single lap that goes by.
So this last lap time is going to be interesting to see because Connolly has got himself a bit of a gap at the moment. This is where the pressure is starting to be applied back to the second place rider. A 1:53 lap time for all of our guys up the front at the moment, simply because they got caught up amongst all those lap riders and had nowhere to go. Another rider there having some difficulties as he gets back up and going again. But yeah, certainly a lot slower that last lap time, around 3 seconds the difference compared to their fastest, 5 seconds the difference compared to their fastest. And again, we see that lead stretching out. So I think we are starting to see that mindset play into it right now. Second place points will be very good for this rider here. Just ride it nice and clean. A great way to start the season if you know that you can be up there running the pace with the leader going forward, it's definitely going to be a plus on your side. And Kingsford's generally known as a pretty good starter, right? So he has got the upper hand. Connolly generally gets a good start, but every now and then you'll see him pretty deep in the pack and he'll have to work his way through. So those are the things that these riders need to consider and keep in mind when they're playing out their plans throughout the race.
I just want to quickly make mention, Larwood has made that pass now on Ferguson, and he has gone, as we see, a little bit of a yard sale here. A couple of riders gone down. He's holding his leg there. Hopefully he hasn't done too much damage to himself. Number 29 machine, wow, Ferguson, that was a big mistake.
Now Ferguson is back there. Is that
his teammate?
Byron Dennis right there as well. So possibly a little bit of a tighten up by Ferguson, because he definitely had the pace early on in this race.
A rider I want to make mention of back in 6th place, Ryan Alexanderson. Not a bad job on board the Penrite Empire Kawasaki machine.
And that is Byron Dennis on the number 6. And you can see there, no goggles early in this race. I mean, we're 8 minutes to go. Generally, you don't see it at this point that people are out of goggles on a standard race. Maybe if it was muddy, maybe if it was raining. As we take a look at a Honda replay right now. This is possibly that crash. Yeah, the leg getting stuck under the bike. He grabs it straight away, so there's definitely some sort of pain there.
Yeah, number 25 getting caught, wrong place at the wrong time.
But as we see right there, there's the confirmation I was about to get to, that Byron Dennis has moved himself there into 4th place in front of Noah Ferguson. Still riding around at a great pace, and this is great to see Dennis up there, because we saw some great performances out of him last year. He was a real surprise with just how great he was, straight out of the MX3 into the MX2, but unfortunately a few injuries slowed his progression down a little bit, so a great way to start this series. So Ferguson is trying his hardest to make a pass back here. Oh, blue flag's out for our lapped rider. And Dennis, make sure he got through there.
He had to have that bike on a good angle.
Yeah.
That would have tagged handlebars.
So is Kingsford just looking up on... Oh no! Ferguson with a big one.
That was one of those quick crashes that we were talking about. Sometimes you'll get a slow-mo, sometimes you'll get a quick one. Well, that was a whip into the ground. He's lucky he didn't give himself whiplash.
His hands are upside down at the moment just to get the bike up. Okay, watch for the front wheel on the bike on the right.
This is such a tricky corner, this one. This bites so many people. Front wheel over the top. That went over the top of the line and just knifed and threw him down.
Wow, that was a big quick. That was one of them ones where you did not know what happened.
What just happened? Which one kicked me?
It was surprised he even knew where his bike was when he got up from that. 1 lap to go for our race leader now. Brodie Connolly comes around and he is set to complete a pretty stellar start to the 2025 championship in the Pirelli MX2. Really doesn't look like he's gone out of form at all the entire race, picking up these new lines past the mechanics area for the final time. He will be well aware of his 6-second lead. Couple of dabs, and I've seen him do that a couple of times, especially in this particular corner where maybe the rut disappears. Again, the dab right there.
Well, as we know, the leg going out in these corners is just in case something goes wrong. A bit of a foot dab can save you and stop you from dragging that chin along the ground. So, looking great. And I would have to say that this weekend so far at Wonthaggi has been picture perfect for our race leader, Brodie Connolly, trying to defend his championship, other than a big crash in qualifying. Yes, he was by far the fastest. I think it was a couple of seconds up from his next closest rival, but he still hit the deck pretty hard.
Yep.
So great to see him to get the wheels back on track here, and he's got himself a very handy 6-second gap over rider Kingsford, and with well less than half a lap to go, he looks like taking the checkered flag and a win here in the first of the Pirelli MX2 races.
As he goes down into the Gabrielle left-hander, final time. Only a few more turns left for this rider, and a great way to start this championship. So strong, man. Up and over that with ease. You expect that at the start of a moto, not on the final lap, to be going through there so comfortable and so confident all the way through.
Well, they've got the bike working great, but more importantly, the head is in the right space, and it's going to be the checkered flag and Moto #1 win of the Pirelli MX2. Brodie Connolly takes the win. The Kiwi is putting that Honda exactly where he wants it to be. One more race to go for Connolly to try to take the overall.
As we take a look at the official results of the Pirelli MX2, of course, it was Connolly, Kingsford, Larwood, Dennis, Ferguson, Cosford, Takeabout, Burke, 7th. That is sensational. Birchall, Cookus, and Budd.
11th place, Ryan Alexanderson falling back a little bit off the pace early in the race. So Ricky Yokoyama, Deacon Pace, Rolly Fitzpatrick, and Alfie Jones rounding out the top 15. All these riders doing such a good job here in Moto1 of the Pirelli MX2. All right, well, it's time now to head down to Trent with our podium.
Yeah, guys, down here with the winner of Pirelli MX2 opening moto, the defending champion Brodie Connolly. I mean, this is the perfect way to start your championship defence. Get out front, run those laps, and get a moto win. But it looked like it was challenging too at points as well.
Yeah, for sure. The track's super tricky today, so yeah, you have to be real patient. And also, you know, first race of the season, you're always a little bit tired and shake the nerves out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the second one. And yeah, I just can't thank the whole team enough. My mum and dad and the Townsend family. And yeah, it's an awesome way to start.
Well, there you go, boys. It's a great way to start for the MX2 champ.
All right, well, time for a break. What a race we just witnessed in Pirelli MX2 Moto #1. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we have got plenty more action for you.
The opening round of the Penrite Pro MX Championship always brings a lot of excitement and energy, and now with the inclusion of the FIM Oceania Women's MX Cup, that excitement just got even bigger. Four countries, 5 riders per team, over 3 motos, all battling it out to see who holds the cup up high at the end of the day. Team USA fields an incredibly strong team, recruiting some of their best riders for the event down under, led by Kylie Stallings.
You guys had this race last year, so we all heard about it. Christina came to me about 6 months ago and came to me and was like, hey, we're gonna do this race. And you know, we got the team together. We all been working really hard on and off the bikes, so I think we're ready. We have a really strong team coming into Australia. They're all really good in the sand. They're either from the West Coast or the East Coast, so they're from Florida or California, which is both pretty sandy and both very similar to the track that we're riding today. I think we're going to do really well in that aspect of the track for sure.
FIM Africa has put together a team of international experience and emerging talent, captained by Leah Haygate.
So basically I was asked a few months ago in 2024 to come and captain the Africa team, which was very exciting and a huge privilege to be able to captain such a diverse, amazing group of ladies. All our girls are from different countries. Obviously we're representing Africa, and Africa is a big continent. A Kenyan, a Ugandan, myself from Zambia, a South African and a Namibian. And also we've raced against one another in the Motocross of Africa Nations, which is also held once a year at a different country.
The New Zealand team has lent on proven talent, riders that are well versed with ProMX series and its tracks. Amy Roberts and her girls ready to bring the fight.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. Like, it's such an amazing thing that FIM have done for the women. I was kind of in like the last season of my racing, but this just makes me want to keep going. And then obviously for the young woman, it just gives them something to strive towards in future. So that's really cool.
And the defending champs, Team Australia, captained by Charlie Cannon, is hungry for another win on home soil.
Yeah, it's awesome that the Oceania event is here in Australia. We've brought over some more countries from last year, which is amazing. It's awesome to see women in motocross grow. We all get to race new girls, and it's really, hopefully down the track, more countries come on board and become something pretty big. Australia have a really strong team this year. All the girls have had a really good pre-season. Their times are fast, and I think we're going to give it to the US team. It'll be some good rivalry, and us Australians, we want to win, so we'll give it all we got.
With such a high level of international races this weekend, it really shows the global strength and growth of women's motocross.
As we look at now the Honda race highlights, and it didn't look like the number 1 machine was going to get a good start, but somehow she snuck through there into second place, going through the second turn. Bikes coming together everywhere. That was the first time these two riders came together, and a massive crash on the finish line there. Horn very lucky not to come unstuck, but this one, Roberts unfortunately going down.
Yeah, that was a big crash from the Western Australian rider there, Michaela Rimbas. But up the inside here, Maddie Simpson, beautiful pass on the American Kylie Stallings.
The claws were out with the girls here. There was a lot of bar banging going on. It just showed how much it meant to them to try and get this result at the end of the day. Turner worked her way through from 10th place, and a great ride here by Stallings, almost going down. That battle went for, it seemed like it went forever.
Stallings was like, what are these Australians putting booby traps on the inside of the corners here? There we see the coming together and those arms up in the air for McCutcheon, who come together with a lapped rider. But she got back up on 2 wheels and she got Australia some very valuable points. But at the end of the day, it was clean riding, no problems whatsoever. Didn't come together with any of the lapped riders. And other than a little tip over in one of the races, it was clear sailing, and another checkered flag for the number 1 plated Charlie Cannon. Fantastic job.
Fantastic. And here is the podium for the FIM Oceania Women's MX Cup. It was great to see this race. Incredible that it was so close between them all. All the girls, by the looks of things, enjoyed their time, and we hope that this can continue to grow in popularity. As we said, it just shows the strength and the popularity of global women's motocross racing.
In the Maxxis MX3 class, let's take a look at the Honda highlights. Drop of the gate, and it was a fantastic start from the number 20 Honda machine. Cade Kingsford got himself a lightning start and a terrific hole shot.
Yeah, he absolutely slingshot himself into that first turn. Troubles on the opening lap for many of these riders, finding themselves very deep in the pack. As they sorted themselves out, though, it was going to be Kingsford that led the way. Moment here for Kai Woods. He had to regroup himself to make sure that that didn't happen again. But this moment here for Fuller, left, right, left, right. We didn't know if he was going to save it, but ended up going down. Very lucky not to get an injury out of that one, as this guy went through to the lead and started to run away from.
Little mistake there from one of our lapped riders going down the inside wall of the corner, but it didn't pose any problems for our first and second place getters, Kai Woods and Cade Kingsford. Nice line up the far left-hand side of the rut there, but we would have seen near the very end of the race, he found a very interesting line.
Good battle that started to brew between these two particular riders, with Strode and Allsop in behind them. They would go battling it all the way through to the very final laps of this race. Eventually, Allsop would be able to make that pass and get himself up there into third.
As we got towards the very end of the race, it was all about the number 10 Yamaha machine taking the checkered flag and the first win of the season in the Maxxis MX3 class.
Well, we are straight into the action for the next of this one. The MX3 is blasting out, and is that, humongous crash. Wow.
So many riders have just gone end for end through there. We'll try to pick up who it is. It looked like a fantastic hole shot from the Honda rider, Cade Kingsford, but so many riders down on the exit of the second part of turn 1. Here we see it is Cade Kingsford. Yellow flags flying. That looks like in another part of the track.
Yeah. There's been carnage on the opening part of this, but Kai Woods right there in second place, looking to pick up where he left off the last time. Oh, how was the switch up there of lines between the two riders? Woods to the inside. Kingsford manages to hold on around the outside.
Great start for Cade Kingsford. Kai Woods hoping to pick up where he left off at the end of Moto 1 with a win. He looks to already have his lines coming together here. The WP hole shot to Cade Kingsford.
And Allsop there is in third place. So our top 3 from Moto number 1 still sit in the top 3 in Moto number 2, although they are switched up a little bit. But these 3 riders exceptionally fast. Can Allsop do anything at the moment and try and launch onto the back wheel of these 2 riders and see if he can stay with them for the duration of this moto as they work their way through the big rollers at the moment? Kingsford a little wider. Oh, Wood with a beautiful turn down. Looking to the inside. Oh! Wow.
So close to throwing that Yamaha on the ground. You know, when you're having a day like this, where you have a moment like that and you don't end up on the ground, everything is going your way, isn't it?
And complete a pass at the same time. Wow, what a pass that was. Shackleton sits there in 4th place at the moment. Davison, who was one of our fast riders, terrible moto number 1 after a crash, sits up there as well. So keep an eye on this little battle. This could get very spicy before this one's finished. There is Davison on the 254, just at the tail end of those 3 riders. And already Woods starting to stretch out a lead. 1 second as they cross the finish line. But it looks like it might be just creeping out a little bit more at the moment as the riders come to grips with a very changed track. A massive change for me seeing Seth Shackleton where he is at the moment. He looks like he has grown as a rider. He looks a lot more in control, a lot stronger on the bike at the moment, has done a lot of hard work, obviously, in the off-season, and finds himself in a very creditable 4th right now. Davison, a lot of pressure to the inside here. Has to switch it up just a little bit. But yeah, this battle is going strong. They, like you said, they're not far behind, 1st and 2nd. Not like first moto where we saw Kai Woods just run away and stretch out that lead.
So a bit of an impressive run here, and apologies for anyone that I miss out on. Trying to keep tabs on the juniors here. It looks to me Lachlan Allen in 12th place, doing a great job on board the Yamaha machine. Peter Wolf out of Queensland in 13th on board the Husky. And then we go a bit further back to Heath Davey in 17th and Jack Burton in 19th. So these are all junior riders. If you do manage to catch on screen any of the riders with yellow numbers, oh, a big mistake from Jet Alsop, almost knifing that front end. Nearly would have popped him on the ground, and that is going to open up the door for Davison, who would have seen that mistake. Is it a chance to pounce now?
Yeah, it's very close between these two. And just to finish off what you were saying, oh, one rider down. Hope that's an up ramp and not a down ramp.
That's just before the up ramp prior to the sand rollers.
Yes.
So it's like they've actually cleaned up that takeoff ramp, because if you recall in an earlier race, we had deep ruts up that.
Yeah, so here's a replay. Oh, that's the knife of the front wheel. Very, very close to going down. Does well to stay upright there. But to finish off what you were saying before, Lee, yes, the yellow plate numbered riders, they are your junior riders, the 14 to 15-year-olds. They were the ones that you were just running through that list a moment ago. We just look at this gap that we got 1st to 2nd. That was kind of close.
It was. And if you have a look at the last lap time, Kai Woods got a 157.4, Cade Kingsford a 158.3. So
there's got to be a mistake.
There must have been a mistake. Kai Woods has made a decent-sized mistake in this lap. So watch this space when they come across the finish line this time. Did you just see the roost in the face from Davison?
Yeah.
But he just hasn't even paused. It's almost like he breathed it in and just went, let's go. He is trying to set up a pass here.
Yeah, this is a great battle between these two. Allsop trying his hardest to get up on top of those rollers. Here's the replay. Watch the 42 machine here. Wow, he really just messed that up, and then boom, in the face. Pop that.
Wow, that's a great shot.
You don't want to be on an in-breath when you're doing something like that, right? You just
fill the lungs up with some Wonthaggi dirt.
Yeah. Still trying anything he can. Oh, that is Ryan Jones, unfortunately for him. Gone down. Great to see that he's made it through, but unfortunate. Just off the side of the track as these two look like they're going to fight this one out all the way to the checkered flag, Lee.
It doesn't look as if Davison is starting to slow down or struggle fitness-wise. He looks like he's well and truly in the mix there, but we've still got a few laps to go with 3 minutes plus a lap left on the clock.
Oh!
That happened so quickly. That knife up the takeoff ramp would have really caught him by surprise. Now, how far back? It's 8 seconds. So there he goes right there, and there goes Shackleton. So both of those KTM riders make up a spot.
Well, when we see, if we see the replay of that, just watch the bike, how unsettled it is going into that rut. It's really stepping around sideways. Here we go. Watch the back end of the bike. It's about to come into screen on this side of it. The back wheel skipping left and right. left and right, and it just started.
Front just knifed right.
Yeah.
He wasn't expecting that, and that's the front caused that step over the bars. I think it really caught him by surprise.
Yeah, it was just a flow-on effect from that wheel being unsettled going into it. Into the right-hander, we are about to count down for this race to zeros, so they will receive the last lap for the next time past. Woods, with that 5-second lead, will be the first to greet it as these two continue to battle it out. This, of course, is for 4th and 5th place on the track at the moment.
They've both done exceptionally well as far as points go overall on the day. We're looking at first place if positions remain the same. Kai Woods with the win, Kingsford in 2nd place on the day, and Allsop with a couple of thirds. He'll get himself up on the podium. But 4th place on the day will be Fuller, and 5th place to Seth Shackleton. So exactly how they see themselves. Well, actually, scratch that. 6th place as well on the day to Jack Devison. So how they find themselves on the track at the moment, it's really only Caden Strode, who he's on 29 points and back in 10th place. So I think he must have got caught up in that altercation out of the first turn.
So if Shackleton can get this pass made, although it's not looking like it at the moment, he definitely is there within striking distance, but he hasn't been able to do anything to really make it look like he was going to get a pass made. But if he was able to make this pass, he'd tie on points with Fuller for this race, and he would be officially rewarded 4th place overall on the day.
With a countback. So that would be a well-deserved 4th. So look, either way, if it stays the same, well-deserved for Fuller. If they do swap positions, well-deserved likewise for Seth Shackleton.
Absolutely. Up and over the tabletop here towards the big rollers, which are absolutely beat at the moment. You can see a little lip there off that second one, really kicking these riders around as they will be greeted also.
Watch the time that Shackleton makes up through the inside here. Absolutely flies through there, but unfortunately, it's a little bit hard to find a passing line through this left-hander prior to heading towards the finish line here.
Yeah, loves that sand roller section as the last lap board now is showing. So these boys, one more lap to sort out this fight as our race leader continues to stretch it out now, 7 seconds ahead of Kingsford on his final lap at the moment. He'll be greeted by that checkered flag very soon. There he is.
Kai Woods on the number 10 Monster Energy WBR machine. Has a look over his right shoulder, and Cade Kingsford is a further 7.5 seconds back. It's going to be a clean sweep, you would have to think. He's going to keep this thing looking very nice and rubber side down all the way through to the checkered flag, Danny.
Through the AMX left-hander here, you're right, he has done everything right so far in this race. And only half a lap to go, he will be greeted with that checkered flag and a well-deserved win. And like you said, he didn't have a great showing at the start of this year. He's gone home, he's done his homework, and he has come out firing at the opening round. I'm sure a lot of guys probably counted him out after the performance earlier this year, but that is the signs of a true champion. Someone that can identify those weaknesses, go home and make them these strengths, and come out firing for this championship.
Like you said, went home, did some homework, back to the drawing board, and whatever he has done, he has come up trumps. He will come away from round 1 with 2 wins next to his name. Kai Woods on board the Monster Energy WBR Yamaha. Clean sweeps round 1 here at Wonthaggi, and he is stoked, and so he should be. 2nd place will come through, only a couple of seconds back. Actually 5.5 seconds, made up a couple of seconds there in the last lap, but that's just Kai Woods controlling that race lead. Now here's the battle we were watching, and Jackson Fuller's got caught behind a lap rider, but it's not going to affect the finishing order here as they're about to come through, and a very impressive ride for both of these riders. A disappointed Seth Shackleton. He wanted to get that spot, which would have got him 4th place.
Just goes to show the immense amount of talent in this Maxxis MX3. As we look at the results here, of course, Woods, Kingsford, Allsop, we know, Fuller and Shackleton. Devison, unfortunately, didn't continue his charge forwards after those little problems earlier on. Townsend there in 7th, Downey. Hicks and McInnes back there in 9th. That's a better ride. Caden Strode, though, was unable to get a similar result to Moto number 1.
And Hammy, I must reiterate here, very impressive ride from our first-year seniors, straight out of juniors last year. Fuller, Shackleton, Devison. We also had, there was another one up in the mix. Utes. I can't remember who that was, but yeah, great job. Max Compton riding exceptionally well. So he's obviously, I think he came unstuck in the early stages of this race, whether it was a first turn crash or the next one. There we see him right there in 24th. That's not where he wants to be, but speed-wise and results in that first one, he's right there in the mix with those riders. So a good showing.
All right, let's head down to Trent with our winners.
Third place, Jed Alsop on the podium. I think the smile says it all. It was a rough year last year, but this is a great way to start 2025.
Yeah, really tough year last year, but it changed to Honda and it's like a breath of fresh air. And yeah, I'm stoked to be up on the podium. And yeah, I can't believe it.
Awesome job. We move over to our second place rider here, the number 20 of Cade Kingsford. Cade to switch over to the Honda program for 2025. Good hit out. You see there, you probably were looking for a little bit. You wanted to stick it to the front runners there, but still a good way to start the championship. Solid points for you.
Yeah, it's a long championship, so this is a good first round. We got a couple things to work on, and we know where we're at. So speed's really good. I feel really good. Fitness, so I'm going all 8 this year, and yeah, I'm going to make it tough on all them. So a couple rounds, get to some better tracks, and yeah, it'll be a good championship.
Well, there you go, and your winner here, the number 10 of Kai Woods. Kai, the boys in the booth asked for a smile this time round. Your business after Moto1, but you got to be happy now, going 1-1 for the weekend.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked with that moto. I knew after last year I won the first moto, and yeah, things can change so fast, especially on a gnarly track. So yeah, it's good to go 1-1, have the red plate. I just need to keep it solid all year round. I know the last few years have been a bit struggling with consistency, but man, I think with this team, yeah, this is our year.
Awesome job. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for your top 3 Maxxis MX3 class.
Well, fantastic win there for Kai Woods. Awesome job. All right, well, time for a break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we have got plenty more action for you. Welcome back to the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores.
Well, here we go. Final moto of the day for the Pirelli MX2. Can Connolly get a good start? Will it be Kingsford to the turn first? Gates are down.
Right, who has jumped out? No, it's definitely not Connolly. Haruki Yokoyama, the Japanese rider. He is on board the privateer Pro Honda machine, but someone snuck up the inside. Is that Ferguson?
I think that's Ferguson. Oh no!
Loose. That was a big moment as he goes down right next to the Dunlop banners. We have got riders down left, right and centre here. This is such a treacherous part of the track.
One rider there stuck under the bike and out of all the carnage. It has become Connolly that leads the way. Kingsford there in third. It is Haruki Yokoyama, who was only in 12th place after the first moto. He'll be looking to better that position in this particular race. There's Larwood back there in 4th place, just in front of Respud as we see the WP Whole Shot Award going to Noah Ferguson, but unfortunately that only lasted about 100 metres.
That was a terrible case of 0 to 0 in a very, very small period of time. Ryder Kingsford trying to make a pass up the inside of Haruki Yokoyama, and he does so. But I'm going to say, Ham, if you want to scan our memories back to Gilman last year and quite possibly the scrub of the century, there was memes being made worldwide for Haruki Yokoyama for peeling it inside out, almost Roxon style. I wonder if while he's got a little bit of TV time here, he can try to repeat those antics.
Oh, we can only hope so. As we see these other riders coming through. There is Ryan Alexanderson returning to Australian racing on the 62 machine, making a pass there on Reese Budd, who we didn't get to see anything on Reese Budd in moto number 1. So great to see that he's got himself a good start here in 5th place as Larwood now goes to work on the back wheel of Haruki. Forceful move there and gets a pass made.
I like that aggressive move from Larwood. He means business and he needs to get up towards the head of the pack. A little bit of a dab of the foot, but it didn't cost him any time. Looked a little bit on the ugly side, but he doesn't care about that at the moment. He's got his sights set firmly. Ahead of him is Ryder Kingsford, and then of course his teammate Brody Connolly. He wants to get up there and battle with his teammate, doesn't he?
Absolutely needs to get up there and continue to push forwards. He was up there in first moto, but he just seemed to lose a little bit of momentum there and went backwards a little bit. Definitely lost the direction of these two riders up the front. Keep your eye on the number 6 though in the back, a shot just there. I believe he is going to be pushing very hard. There he is. That is Byron Dennis just in front of Alexanderson. Reese Budd coming through there. The 275 of Travis Olander. That's a good start for him on the number, in 8th place on the number 275. I said that already. Number 18 of Seth Birchall just behind them, and Brock Flynn is on the 60.
The number 29 of Noah Ferguson has already made his way back up to 15th place after a massive crash early in the race after getting that awesome hole shot.
And Ferguson has only got up to 11th at the moment. Okay, so he came through very quickly to 15th, like you mentioned, but hasn't done a lot yet since that particular position.
We've got a rider there, the number 731, has taken a little bit of a hit. But I wanted to ask you, Danny, those two crashes that we have seen from Noah Ferguson, that first one that we just watched on the Honda Highlights package from Moto number 1, that was a big hit to the ground. And then times that by 2 with how big this second crash was, he's got to be feeling the pinch a little bit at the moment.
Absolutely, he'd have to be feeling some pain after those ones. That were big hits. Thankfully, though, manages to get back up and going. Great to see Larwood continuing with that pace as we see Reese Budd on screen. He is just in front of Olander, and there is Ferguson. So 10th place, 8th through to 10th place here as Ferguson tries to remount a charge and see how far he can get up the order right now after that big crash off the start. Olander to the inside of Reese Budd. Good run through the corner there at the start, keeping that front wheel light. Had to shut it down though, because Reese Budd took that line away. It's allowed Ferguson to get to the inside and command this corner. Ferguson should keep that pass, and he has. So one more place for Noah Ferguson to 9th now.
All right, great little battle here between Bud Ferguson and then, of course, back to Travis Olander as they went through the big rollers past the Yamaha section. A couple of riders gone down, the number 415. There it is, one of our back markers, trying to stay out of the way as our race leaders come through, and the gap looking really quite similar. How's that left foot peg grabbing the dirt on the far left-hand side of the track of Brodie Connolly? Our gap currently sits at 1.5, back to Ryder Kingsford.
So those lap times very much the same still between them. They have not really dropped too much pace at the moment. 10 minutes into this race.
Well, have a look at that last lap time, Danny, from Brodie Connolly, a 152.4 to a 153.3. So basically a full second gain from Connolly.
They haven't backed out of this moto at all. As you see, Kingsford feet on the pegs again, bouncing his way past the mechanics area.
Larwood continues to be back in 3rd place. His last lap time around was a 155, so just doesn't quite have the pace.
Oh, leader down.
Whoa.
Our race leader has gone taken out by Kingsford. The riders had nowhere to go. Who can get their bike up first?
You couldn't script this. So massive crash for Brodie Connolly. Cannot wait to have a look at the replay here. How did that just happen?
I have a feeling that he has hit a hard part and the back wheel has slid out on the up ramp, or it's done a kick on the up ramp and gone back the other way. Right. Okay, let's look at the replay here. Watch for Connolly. I still think it's a back wheel that steps out. Yes, off a rut, a hard rut.
And he's slightly out of sight here. So,
yeah.
Kingsford was already crashing before that.
I think he caught him at the last minute, grabbed the front brake and lost the front wheel on the up ramp. Can you believe that?
Ladies and gentlemen, no, this is not World WrestleMania. This is motocross. Let's have a look here. And the gap back to now Larwood is well and truly in the mix.
Yeah, wow. What a completion to this race. 10 minutes still to go in this. Who can rebound from that the best? Right now, Connolly looks like he could have got up and is back into race pace. And I don't think Kingsford has matched that pace No, he's there. He's shaking the head. But Larwood, he is just going, if he could, rubbing his hands together, going, thank you very much. I'm in with a shot right now.
Do you think he would have even seen what happened? Anything? He just would have looked up and seen, how are both of these riders that I know were about 10, 12 seconds up ahead of me, or even more, 15 seconds. Now all of a sudden they're within striking range. Not one of them, but both. What just happened?
Yeah, crazy.
He probably thought they would have taken each other out in a corner, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely crazy turn of events right there. To the inside of another lapped rider. 7.5 minutes to go. There is Kingsford. Larwood still right there in the fight.
It looks like that crash has definitely broken the rhythm a little bit for rider Kingsford. As we can see that last lap around, a 153.2 for Connolly. For Kingsford, it's a 154.4.
And a 55 for Larwood. That would have been assisted by the lapped rider trying to do the right thing and get out the road, but unfortunately just went into another line and got in the road of another. Very tight there for our race leader, almost up to the pegs to the inside as he continues through here. Looks so comfortable again. It did not take him long to find that groove once again.
Now, Danny, can you give me a little bit of a heads up here? Let's get inside the head of Brodie Connolly. He's staring down the barrel of a double victory, a first and a first this morning and this afternoon. He's had a major altercation and gone down. And luckily for him, Kingsford's managed to go down in the same crash. Can we get inside the head of him at the moment and tell us what he would be thinking as we've got 6 minutes plus a lap to go?
Well, I'd say a mortal person and what they'd be thinking would have been there was a lot of pressure and a lot of angst trying to get themselves back up, and then the heart rate spikes and then you start to create issues for yourself as you continue to ride around, because that's the thing you're thinking about is the crash you just had. I think one thing that's benefited is the fact, like you said, that he knows Kingsford went down at the same time, but this is an immortal rider. Obviously, straight back into the form that he's in, it's like it hasn't even happened. In his mind, it looks like everything is just as normal, as if that crash did not even exist, because he has found that form so quick. Many other riders would have snowballed into a lot of other crashes, because when you're leading like that with a good lead and you go down, things seem to snowball so much faster.
You think this is a little bit of an indicator as to how good his fitness is at the moment, because we've got to remember he would have been close to redlining at the point of where he crashed. Now, what would have that done? Spiked his heart rate and he had to get back on board again, right?
Absolutely. When he jumped up so fast like that, and then the fact you get cleaned out by another bike, that's an extra level of heart rate spiking right there as well. So amazing, amazing rider, and it just shows that mental strength that he's got to be able to fight through that as well.
1 minute and 10 seconds left to go. This, of course, Moto2 of Pirelli MX2, as we give you a little bit of a recap outside of the top three that we've spoken so much about. Byron Dennis ahead of Ryan Alexanderson, a good ride back there in 5th place on board the Penrite Empire Kawasaki machine. Noah Ferguson up to 6th place, so what a charge.
Yeah, that's him on screen at the moment, so a massive performance by him to get up to 6th place. He's had to pass some big name riders to get himself there. I don't think he's close enough to go any further than that. It's something like 7, no, even more, 12 seconds to the next rider ahead of him. But he's got himself around Virgil Olander, Bud. Those were riders that were all in front of him. So great comeback right there. Look at this replay right now towards the corner here. One of the riders just maybe trying to get out of the road. Oh, just knifes the front wheel in. Pushes it through the ruts and goes over the top. What a performance. Again, 155 that last lap. Now he has pulled back that throttle and is just taking his time to get around on the very final lap.
Yeah, it's been a clinic here, hasn't it, really? I mean, I don't think that was in the script, that crash that brought down our 2nd place rider in the race at the time, Ryder Kingsford. But hey, that's part of racing. You don't know what's going to happen. You've got to roll with the punches. And the rider that rolled with the punches the best was Brodie Connolly.
Up and over the tabletop for the last time and into the whoops. This has been an exceptional performance. An absolute clinic, like Lee said. and shown these riders a clean set of wheels, except for when there was wheels underneath his feet.
All right, let's follow him through. Here's the man of the moment, Brodie Connolly, stamping his authority in this class, sending shockwaves through the MX2. Checkered flag and double victory for Brodie Connolly. What a sensational round one win it is here for the Honda rider, showing us why he has that #1 plate on the bike. All right, let's take a look at our Pirelli MX2 results here for Moto number 2. Brodie Connolly with the win. Ryder Kingsford 15 seconds back in second place. Alex Larwood in third. Byron Dennis in fourth place. And Ryan Alexanderson, very impressive top 5.
Yeah, great performance out of Alexanderson. Ferguson Birchall with a good result right there, as to Orlando Burke once again up there in the top 10. Rispard, the 10 in this one.
Kobe Burke's been impressive. I'll be interested to look once the final tallies come out for overall what he has finished up. So anyone out here in these tough conditions, fantastic job, that's for sure.
Equals 6th by the look of it from quick counts just there, Lee, for him. So very impressive performance. A huge field in the MX2, 37 riders strong. It just shows the growth that we have had in Australian motocross. But let's get down to the main man with Trent.
We're down here on the podium, Pirelli MX2, Alex Larwood, a 3-3 on the day, a pretty tough final moto there. What were you thinking when you seen the two boys picking it up in front of you and thinking there's a race win potentially at your fingertips?
Yeah, I didn't know what went on there. I just seen they had obviously gapped me a little bit, and I come around and they were sort of right there, so sort of made a charge, but I got held up by a few lappers pretty bad, which cost me a few seconds. But a massive thanks to the whole HRC Honda Racing team. It's been a long pre-season, and to reward them with the podium, it's pretty cool. I'd like to thank all my friends and family back home for watching and supporting, and looking forward to next round.
Well, congratulations there on P3, P2 here. Ryder Kingsford, yeah, we got to talk about that second moto. That was insane. You just come over there, and I guess you just didn't see Brodie, and then end up on the ground as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good race. I felt like me and Brodes were pushing a good pace there, and honestly, it just felt like another training day for us, so I was really happy. And yeah, unfortunately, Brodes went down, and lappers just blocked my vision. There was 3 wide, and I didn't even see Brodie go down, and next minute I'm in the air, and next minute I'm on my head as well. So yeah, unfortunate. What could have been, who knows, but we're still healthy, we're safe, P2 on the day, and yeah, we move on to the next one.
Awesome job, and your winner of the day, 1-1. Brodie Connolly, I mean, I got to start firstly, how are the legs? Because that was insane, but getting back onto race pace too after an incident like that must have took a lot of mental fortitude to be able to do that.
Yeah, it did, but you don't realise how much you're puffing until you stop and get back up. So yeah, it took me about half a lap to get back going, which I was happy with. Normally I'm not too good at that, at resetting, but yeah, we were able to reset and get 2 moto wins, so yeah, overall a good day.
1-1, that's a title, defence, way to start the weekend. Must feel pretty good.
Yeah, it was definitely the goal, so it's cool to tick off the first goal, and yeah, couldn't have done it without the whole Honda team, my mechanic Jai, my parents, the Townsend family, and also a massive shout out to the club. They've done a mega job the last couple of weeks getting this ready, and yeah, I've got to see sort of how much effort it takes. It's pretty cool, so yeah, thanks to them.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your MX2 podium.
And 2 wins from 2 starts for Brodie Connolly, starting his 2025 season campaign the way that he left off last year. All right, well, Danny, what a way to kick things off for 2025. Wonthaggi always provides one of the toughest tracks on the calendar. Thank you so much for joining us here for round 1, the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. On behalf of Danny Ham and myself, Lee Hogan, thanks for your company. We'll see you next as we head to Appin, New South Wales for round 2 of the championship. Goodbye for now.